Two kings of undue pride bereft who act in perfect unity, whom you can order right and left with absolute impunity, who put their subjects at their ease by doing all they can to please, and thus to earn their bread, she sees every opportunity, and thus to earn their bread, she sees every opportunity. We act in perfect unity. We act in perfect unity. Of happiness, the very middle, the very lunacy, a monarchy that's never great, republic and equality, tempered with equality. Gentlemen, we are much obliged to you for your expressions of satisfaction and good feeling. I say, we are much obliged to you for your expressions of satisfaction and good feeling. We heard you. We are delighted at any time to fall in with sentiments so charmingly expressed.
That's all right. At the same time, there is just one little grievance we should like to ventilate. What? Don't be alarmed, it's not serious. It is arranged that until it is decided which of us two is the actual king, we are to act as one person.
Exactly.
Now, although we are to act as one person, we are in point of fact two persons.
I don't think we should get into that. It's a legal fiction, and legal fictions are solemn things. Situated as we are, we can't recognize two independent responsibilities.
No, but you can recognize two independent appetites. It's all very well to say we act as one person, but when you supply us with one ration between us, I should describe it as a legal fiction taken a little too far.
It's a rather nice point. I don't like to express an opinion offhand. Suppose we reserve it for argument before the full court.
Yes, but what shall we do in the meantime? We want our tea!
I think we may make an interim order for double rations on their majesties, entering into the usual undertaking to indemnify in the event of an adverse decision.
That, I think, should meet the case, but you must work hard. Stick to it. Nothing like work.
Oh, certainly. We quite understand that a man who holds the magnificent position of king should do something to justify it. We are called Your Majesty. We are allowed to buy ourselves magnificent clothes. Our subjects frequently nod to us in the street, and the sentries always return our salutes. And we hold the inestimable privilege of heading the subscription list to all principal charities. With all of these advantages, the least we can do is make ourselves useful about the palace. Rising early in the morning, we proceed to light the fire. Then our Majesty adorning in his work a day attire, we embark without delay on the duties of the day. First we polish off some batches of political dispatches and can we possibly create a peer or two? Then we have a fellow creature on his path, with the garter or the thistle or the bark. Then we dress into a loft semi-stage, to a festival, a function, or a feat. Then we go and step the century at the palace private desk and march for the marching fiddler up and down to and fro. While the warrior and Dorothy goes in search of beer and beauty, and it generally happens that he has to falls and throw. Here it is, a city feet, just in time to lead the tea. Then we dine and serve the coffee and then pass the whole wine. The pleasure that's in that we retire to our end, gratifying feeling that our duty has been done. Oh, philosophers they sing of the troubles of a king, and the pleasures there are many, and the worries there are none. And the culminating pleasure that we treasure beyond measure is the gratifying feeling that our duty has been done.
Oh, philosophers may sing of the troubles of a king, but the pleasures there are many, and the worries there are none. For the culminating pleasure that we treasure beyond measure is the gratifying feeling that our duty has been
Yes, it really is a very pleasant experience. They're also singularly kind and considerate. You don't find them wanting to do this or wanting to do that, or saying it's my turn now. No, they seem to let us have all the fun and never seem to grudge it.
It makes one feel rather selfish. It almost seems like taking advantage of their good nature.
How nice they were about the double rations.
Most considerate. There is just one thing wanting to make our lives thoroughly comfortable.
And that is?
The dear little wives we left behind 3 months ago.
Yes, it is dull without female society. We can do without everything else, but we can't do without that.
And if we have that in perfection, we have everything. There is only one recipe for perfect happiness. Take a pair of sparkling eyes, hidden ever and anon in a merciful eclipse. Do not heed their mild surprise, having passed the Rubicon. Take a pair of rosy lips. Take a figure trimly planned, such as admiration weds. Be particular delightful surprise.
Yes, we thought you'd like it. You see, it was like this. After you left, we felt very dull and mopey, and the days crawled by, and you never wrote. And so at last I said to Jeanetta, I can't stand this any longer. Those two poor monarchs haven't got anyone to mend their stockings, or sew on buttons, or patch their clothes. At least I hope they haven't. So I said, let's pack up a change and go see how they're getting on. And she sat down, and they all sat down, and we asked old Jacques if he would lend us his boat, and he sat down. And we crossed the sea, and thank goodness that's done. And here we are, and all I've done. And now, which of you is king, and which of us is queen?
That we shan't know until nurse turns up, but never mind that. The question is, how shall we celebrate the commencement of our honeymoon? Gentlemen, will you allow us to offer you a magnificent banquet?
We will!
Thanks very much. And ladies, what do you say to a dance?
Banquet and a dance, it's too much happiness.
Fancy ball? No, not exactly. Just a little friendly dance, that's all. Sorry you're late. But I saw a groom dancing. And a footman.
Ah, yes, that is the Lord High Footman.
And, oh dear me, a common little drummer boy. Oh no, that's the Lord High drummer boy. But surely, the servants' hall would be the place for these gentry.
Oh dear, no, we have appropriated the servants' hall. It's the royal apartment and accessible only by tickets obtainable at the Lord Chamberlain's office.
We really must have some place we can call our own.
I'm afraid I'm not equal to the intellectual pressure of the conversation.
You see, the monarchy has been remodeled on Republican principles.
What?
All departments rank equally, and everybody is at the head of his department.
I see.
I'm afraid you're annoyed.
No! I won't say that. It's not what I expected.
I'm awfully sorry.
So am I.
By the by, can I offer you anything after your voyage? A plate of macaroni and a rusk?
No, nothing.
Obliged to be careful.
Yes. Oh, Gilbert. You see, in every court there are certain distinctions that must be observed.
There are there?
Why, of course. You wouldn't have a Lord High Chancellor play leapfrog with his own cook.
Why not?
Why not? Because a Lord High Chancellor is a personage of great dignity who should never, under any circumstance, place himself in the position of being told to tuck in his tuppenny, except by a nobleman of his own rank. A Lord High Archbishop, for instance, might tell a Lord High Chancellor to tuck in his tuppenny. But certainly not a cook, gentlemen. Certainly not a cook.
Not even a Lord High Cook?
My good friend, that is a title not recognized at the Lord Chamberlain's office. No, it won't do. I'll give you an example in which the experiment was tried. There lived a king, as I've been told, in the wonder-working days of old, whose heart was twice as good as gold, and 20 times as mellow. Good temper triumphed in his face, and in his heart he found a place for all the erring human race, and every wretched fellow. When he had reddish wine to drink, it made him very sad to think that some had drunk it, or and Jim must be content with tawny. He wished all men as rich as he, and he was rich as rich could be. So to the top of every tree promoted everybody.
Now that's the kind of king for me. He wished all men as rich as he. So to the top of every tree promoted everybody.
Lord Chancellors were cheap as spurts, and bishops in their shovel hats were plentiful as tabby cats, but to back too many. Senators dropped down like eggplant, ministers and such as they, like asparagus in May, and dukes were 3 a penny. On every side built marshals, names called beer were Lord Lieutenants, when admirals the ocean team all round his wide dominion. We had admirals all round his wide dominion, and party leaders you might meet in 2s and 3s on every street, maintaining with no little heat their various opinions.
Now that's a sight you couldn't meet. 2 party leaders in each street, maintaining with no little heat their various opinions.
That king, although no one denies, his heart was of abnormal size, that he had acted otherwise, he had been a tutor. He is easily mortal, when every blessed thing you hold, made of silver or of gold, you long for simple pewter. When you have nothing else to wear, but all of gold and satin, all the gold you cease to care, what goes the price of shoddy?
Here goes the price of shoddy.
In short, whoever you may be, to this conclusion you'll agree. When everyone is somebody, then no one's anybody.
Now that's as plain can be. To this conclusion we agree.
When everyone is somebody, then no one's anybody. Now, I have some important news to communicate. His Grace, the Duke of Barataria, Her Grace Duchess, and their beautiful daughter, Casilda. I said their beautiful daughter, Casilda,
We heard you.
have arrived at Barataria, and may be here at any moment.
The Duke and Duchess are nothing to us.
But the daughter, the beautiful daughter. Oh, you're a lucky dog, one of you.
I think you're a very incomprehensible old gentleman.
Not a bit. I'll explain. Many years ago, when you, whichever you are, were a baby, you, whichever you are, were married to a little girl who has grown up to become the most beautiful young lady in Spain. That beautiful young lady will be here to collect you, whichever you are, in half an hour. And I congratulate that one, whichever it is, with all my heart.
Married. When? A baby?
But we were married 3 months ago.
One. Only one. The other, whichever it is an unintentional bigamist.
Well, on my word.
Who are these young people?
Who are we? Why, their wives, of course. We've just arrived.
Their wives. Oh dear, this is very unfortunate. Oh dear, this complicates things. Dear, what will Her Majesty say?
And do you mean to say that one of these monarchs was already married?
And that neither of us will be a queen?
That is the idea I intended to convey.
Tessa, my dear child.
Get away! Perhaps it's you!
My poor little woman.
Don't. Who knows whose husband you are?
And pray, why didn't you tell us all about it before they left Venice?
Because if I had, no earthly temptation would have induced these two gentlemen to abandon such extremely fascinating and utterly irresistible young ladies.
Well, there's something in that.
I may say that you will not be kept long in suspense, as the old lady who nursed the royal babe is at present in the torture chamber, awaiting me to interview her.
Poor old girl. Hadn't you better go and put her out of her suspense?
Oh, no. There's no hurry. She's all right. She has the program to read. But perhaps I should go interrogate her. And in the meantime, may I suggest the absolute propriety of you regarding yourselves as single young ladies. Good evening.
Well, here's a pleasant state of things.
Delightful. One of us is married to 2 young ladies, and nobody knows which. The other is married to 1 young lady whom nobody can identify.
And which of us is married to which of you? And what's to become of the other?
Observe. It's quite simple. 2 husbands have managed to acquire 3 wives. 3 wives, 2 husbands. That's 2/3 a husband to each wife.
Oh, Mount Vesuvius, here we are in arithmetic. My good sir, one cannot marry a vulgar fraction.
You've no right to call me a vulgar fraction.
Oh, we are getting rather mixed. The situation is entangled. Let us try and comb it out. In our contemplative fashion and a tranquil frame of mind, free from every kind of passion, some solution let us find, let us grasp
silly, still she answers pretty well.
Now when we were pretty babies, someone married us, that's clear.
And that young lady begged to receive, I can't refuse.
Quiet, calm, deliberation disentangles every knot.
With ducal pomp and ducal pride, announced these times of metal brothers, from Barataria, side on right beside Sibyl's She comes to claim the royal
Yes, polite attention touches heart of you.
And heart of Duchess who reside there pent.
With profound regret.
She a beauty was a mortal.
When a tiny tittle-toddle and at 20
She's excelled my love.
at 20
She's excelled my last 20.
she's excelled my
comes to claim the royal proclaim their graces of the noble places from the king who rules this goodly land. Give praise and passes
Be good enough to inform His Majesty that His Grace, the Duke of Plaza Toro Limited, has arrived and begs,
Desires.
demands an audience. And now, my child, prepare to receive the husband to whom you were united under such interesting and romantic circumstances.
But which is it? There are two of them.
It is true that at present His Majesty is a double gentleman. But as soon as the circumstances of his marriage are ascertained, he will ipso facto boil down to a single gentleman, thus presenting a unique example of an individual who becomes a single man and a married man by the same operation.
I have known instances in which the characteristics of both conditions existed concurrently in the same individual.
Oh, he couldn't have been a Plaza Toro.
Oh, couldn't he, though?
Well, whatever happens, I shall, of course, be a dutiful wife. But I can never love my husband.
I don't know. It's extraordinary how unprepossessing people one can love. if one gives one's mind to it.
You loved your father.
My love, that remark's a little hard, I think. Rather cruel, perhaps. Somewhat uncalled for, I venture to believe.
It was very difficult at first, my dear, but I said to myself, that man is a duke, and I will love him. Several of my relations bet me I couldn't, but I did. Desperately.
Small titles and orders for mayors and reporters I get, and they're highly delighted. prevailers, those ready-made tailors quote me as a great double barrel. I allow them to do so, though Robinson Crusoe with Jim and their wearing apparel. I sit by selection upon the direction of several companies bubble. As soon as they're floated, I'm quickly backnoted. I'm pretty well paid for my trouble. She's not a winner. And wine with her dinner. Believe me, you mustn't. It certainly doesn't. We're ready as witness to anyone's fitness to fill any place of a permit. We enjoy an interment. It's sure to be kindled the spark of the symbol. Your simpletons into your clutches, yes, into your clutches. Oh, when we condemn to, you cannot do better. A duke or a duchess. Your Majesty.
The Duke of Plaza Toro, I assume.
The same. Allow me to present
The young lady one of us is to marry.
Gentlemen, I am the most obedient servant of one of you. Oh, Louise.
I am now about to address myself to the gentleman whom my daughter married. The other may allow his attention to wander if he likes, because what I'm about to say does not concern him. Sir, you will find in this young lady a combination of excellences that you would need to search for in vain in any other young lady who did not have the good fortune of being my daughter. There seems to be a little doubt of which of you is whom I'm addressing and which of you is allowing his attention to wander. But when that doubt is solved, I will say, still addressing the attentive gentleman, take her, and may she make you happier than her mother has made me. If possible. Now, there is a little matter on which I think I am entitled to take exception. I come here, state, with her Grace the Duchess and her Majesty my daughter, and what do I find? Do I find, for instance, a guard of honor to receive me? No.
No.
The town illuminated? No.
No.
Refreshments provided? No.
No.
A royal salute fired? No.
No.
Triumphal arches erected? No. The bells set ringing? No! Yes! What? The visitors, and I write it myself. It is not enough. It is not enough.
Upon my honor, I'm very sorry indeed, but you see, I was brought up in a gondola, and my idea as to politeness is taking off my cap when my passengers tip me.
Well, that's all very well in its way, but it's not enough.
I'll take off anything else in reason.
A royal salute to my daughter. It costs so little.
Papa, I don't want a salute.
My dear sir, as soon as we know which of us is allowed to take that liberty, she shall have as many salutes as she likes.
And as far as guards of honor and triumphal arches, you don't know our people. They wouldn't stand it.
They're very offhand with us, very offhand indeed.
But you must not allow that. You must keep them in proper discipline. You must impress your court with your importance. You want deportment, carriage.
We've got a carriage.
No. Manner, dignity. You need a good deal of this sort of thing. And a little of this sort of thing. You hold yourself like this. You hold yourself like that. By hook and crook, you try to look both angular and flat. and possibly a soupçon of soupçon, French word, of this sort of thing. Bow, bow, ye lower middle classes. Bow, bow, ye tradesmen, bow, ye masters. And so on. It's very useful and effective. Attend to me. You are a king. I am a subject. Very good. Serious, who is about to kiss your hand. Try to combine a both imperious with a demeanor nobly planned. Let us combine a both imperious with a demeanor nobly planned. That is anything too unbending, too aggressively stiff and mad. Now to the other extreme. Don't be so juicily condescending.
things together. That's called tact.
It's very awkward. We should explain to her how we are situated. It's not fair to the girl.
Then why don't you do it?
I'd rather not. You.
Madam, we, that is to say several of us.
Gentlemen, I am bound to listen to you, but it is right to tell you that, not knowing I was married in infancy, I am over head and ears in love with somebody else.
As a case exactly. We are over head and ears in love with somebody else. In point of fact, with our wives.
Your wives? Then you are married?
It's not our fault. We knew nothing about it. We are sisters in misfortune.
My good girls, I don't blame you. Only before we go any further, we must really arrive at some satisfactory arrangement or we shall get hopelessly complicated.
Here's a case of
waited. So prudent, so I understand it.